This story was sent to me by Craig Jarrett, and listen, I've heard a lot of stories like this, like the one you're about to hear right now, but this one's taking it to a whole nother level. So you see in this picture a woman who was a judge, and her name is Judge Dawn Gentry. I know it's kind of cut off on the end, but that's her last name, and she has been accused of having sex, group sex, with staffers inside of the courthouse where she presides at. When I first heard about this, I didn't know whether to shake my head or to laugh or shake my head and laugh at the same time. Like, that actually made me chuckle a little bit because I'm like, this woman is like having freak sessions in the judge's chambers. But on a serious note, it makes me wonder what kind of judge she is. Like, what type of cases has she presided over? Now, I haven't read this article yet. I'm just going based off of the title, and I'm already like, just okay, let's get into it. A Kentucky judge has been hit with 9 misconduct charges after being accused of having threesomes with staff in her office and letting employees get drunk on the job. As RadarOnline.com has learned, family court judge Dawn Gentry is being investigated by the Kentucky Judicial Conduct Commission after claims she gave preferential treatment to attorneys that succumbed to her sexual demands and donated to her campaigns for re-election. Okay, now this just actually got serious just reading that alone. They said she gave them preferential treatment to whoever basically fucked her and gave her money to donations for her to get reelected, which can be seen as a bad thing because that's basically bribery. But then it could actually hem up someone who could be innocent, all because the person who she slept with was on the opposing team. I guess you could put it that way. Accusers told the commission that Gentry, aged 38, woof, that's a hard knock, 38, used the courthouse as a frat house where she regularly slept with staffers as well as with her pastor turned lover, Stephen Penrose. On one occasion, the two allegedly had a threesome with Gentry's secretary in her office. The commission confirmed that Gentry and Penrose are in a band together, and Gentry allegedly gave the guitar player a position as a case specialist in her court, despite him having no related experience. According to the judge's ex-husband, Brian Gentry and Penrose were involved in an affair while she was still married. My goodness. Catherine Schultz, a former staffer who sat on the panel with Gentry for cases about abused children, claimed in an affidavit obtained by the Cincinnati Enquirer that the judge tried to get Schultz to seduce her husband via Snapchat so she could accuse him of cheating during their divorce war. Gentry also reportedly asked Schultz to sleep with her and Penrose at a legal conference. Schultz claimed that when she denied Gentry's advances, their relationship turned sour and she soon resigned from the panel. Mike Hummel, who was also on the panel with Gentry, says she replaced him with someone who donated 4 times as much as he did to her re-election campaign. Accusers also claim Gentry often flirted with attorneys over Snapchat and allowed attorneys to drink alcohol in the courthouse. The Kenton County judge is now waiting for a disciplinary hearing, which is set to take place in the next 2 to 3 months. She has denied all allegations of misconduct. Okay, so reading the title alone, it sounded like this was going to be just comedy alone because, like, I never heard of a judge doing or engaging in this kind of activity, especially in the workplace. But as you read on, you realize this is more serious than one would think because this woman was a judge or is a judge because it didn't say that she was fired that dealt with child cases. And she's and like they said, she literally ran this thing like it was her own frat house. And basically, you know what goes down at frat houses. Like when you really think about it, you have to question yourself, how in the hell did this woman become a judge? Well, she probably went to the proper, now I was going to say she probably went to the proper channels, but then again, seeing how she behaves as a judge, she probably behaved like this before she became a judge, and I would not be surprised if she did dirty deeds to become the judge, if you know what I mean. But this woman is dirty and underhanded as they come. Like, so basically, The only way you could get through her was to get through her, if you get what I mean. In order to be over certain cases or to not be removed from certain cases, if you denied her advances, she would, knock you down a few pegs. But this is also another case of abuse of power. This woman got into a position of power she's probably never had before, and now she's abusing it. And like, this is the definition of abuse of power. She let it all go to her head, and she's doing all of this in the courtroom, in the courthouse. If I was them after finding all this out, I would close down that courthouse for a few days and spray down everything. I would not be surprised if they were that filthy and didn't even clean up after they did what they did. Could you imagine what it smells like in there? Like, you see this right here. She was engaging in this act with multiple staffers, including her husband, threesomes, group sex, and all types of other debauchery in the workplace. Let's remember, this happened at work. This wasn't outside of work. This wasn't at a hotel or a motel, Holiday Inn. I just had to throw that in there. Or somebody's home, or hell, even in a car. This happened in a courthouse where they work. I think that not only should she be investigated, but everybody else that engaged in whatever she was putting down needs to be investigated as well. Point blank, period. Because they were playing around with people's lives here. And I'm talking about those who needed to be defended. They could have been innocent. They could have got sent to jail or paid a fine or probation when they didn't need to, because this woman used what was between her legs to get what she wanted. And like I said, she is a judge, and unfortunately I have to say that she is, because like I said, they haven't fired her. As far as I know, they haven't mentioned her being fired in this article. But I can honestly say I've never heard anything like this before. And I've done a lot of stories dealing with judges, and this one takes the cake for real. But then it's also going to put a microscope on a lot of other female judges. Because they always say one rotten apple, one bad apple spoils the bunch. They're going to keep an eye now on a lot of these female judges. Not saying they don't need to keep an eye on the male judges either, because they be letting a lot of these rapists and stuff get off the hook. And it makes me think that they've probably engaged in that activity too. Maybe not on the job like she has. But yeah. But my biggest thing here outside of all of that is 38. I refuse to believe that this chick is 38. I refuse to believe she is 8 years older than me. When I saw her picture, I'm thinking that she's like at least in her 40s. But 38? Nah. That's probably why that's the only reason she can get people to sleep with her. Look at that mug. She couldn't get them any other way. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.